You're listening to the Mike Live Experience on QNation.FM with Pride Worldwide.
So I have promised you a guest, and I'm going to fulfill on that promise. Live from somewhere, I don't know where, somewhere in Virginia, although I suspect I know where. Anyway, CD recording artist Michael Ryder joins me on the Mike Live Experience. Michael, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I am fantastic. How are you tonight?
I'm pretty well, pretty productive. I actually wrote a song today, which is pretty good for me because I don't really write that much anymore. So yeah, it's all good.
Fantastic. Is this something that maybe is a is going to be a single, or is it something that you're building up for on another CD?
I don't know yet. I think you just have to wait and see.
Oh, I see how this is going to be. So you've released your first your first disc by the name of Lighthouse. Tell me about where the title came from and what kind of message you're looking to convey on this new disc.
Well, I think that sometimes people don't. I guess I understand that I wrote basically the bulk of the record when I was maybe around 15. I mean, I wrote some of the songs like Flamethrower and such when I was really young. But the record kind of explores this ideology of independence and kind of this idea this introspective of, I guess, people and the way that people look at life and strength and in courage and also in weakness. And I think that's something that I wanted to explore in the record. There's definitely a concept of a yin and yang kind of thing, if that makes any sense. But the record really is about this warrior-esque person who battles these conflicts of obviously love and death in a way, but in this two perspective persona of love and hate, basically this weakness and ignorance, and versus this strength mentality. So I think that's kind of where the bulk of the record came from, and but definitely Lighthouse kind of springs from this hope that every song I try to encompass every song to have this type of hope, if that makes any sense. So
was there something in your life that kind of directed you to make a CD with that kind of message?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that well, obviously, I'm an artist as well as I'm a musician, but I think that something that has always, spawned my creative energy has been, as horrible as this may sound at first, but I've always drawn a lot of inspiration from very dark emotion, especially hate and in a way even this lost side and kind of these feelings of really deep torture. And for me, counteracting these feelings, I guess, is a very powerful message, I think, and that's where I strive to write with. I guess that when I write, it's kind of for empowerment. It's never for really for this sadness or whatever, because I'm not really a sad person. If you meet me, I'm pretty outgoing. I try to be as bubbly as I can,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not really sad or anything, but I definitely think that my music is extremely dark in a way and progressive, but it's kind of the excrements of who I really am not. So if that makes any sense. I think that's what art really is.
Kind of like an alter ego almost?
No, definitely. I think that it's somebody that I don't get to be in real life. That's the person that is singing the record. So definitely. How
long did it take you to move from songwriting to as far as coming up with the concept, then putting the words on paper, then creating the music and the melodies and stuff like that, to finally recording it and putting it, finally burning it to CD? How long kind of a process was that?
A very long process. It was a process that I basically started out with. I came into music quite a bit ago. I was around honestly I was 13. I started off with musical theater and such, but I think that when I started realizing, I think it has a lot to do with my sexuality as well. But I started out writing these little memoirs of myself. I started out with poetry, and but it's not I was ever a poet, because at core, I'm a musician. I'm not really a writer. I think that I'm a mediocre writer at best. But I think more, I love the popadelic side of music. I love kind of the musical aspects of being a recording artist. But anyway, I'm kind of going off on a tangent. But anyway, so I basically started off with a bunch of these memoirs, and kind of they evolved into these, I guess, like this journal entry that I was doing in a ritual pattern I was doing every night. And then I started doing compositions because I was taking piano at the same time, and I was taking voice at the same time as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of just like clumped everything together, and I just made this a batch of like 40 songs, and like the best 11 made the album. So
let me ask you this: when you're going through and you're writing these songs, and you're thinking about this alter ego or this kind of individual, did you kind of base it on somebody maybe you knew in high school, or maybe on a group of individuals, or something like that, kind of trying to peek into their life and see what it would be like from a musical and a writing perspective?
Oh, no. I've always been a maverick. I've always been, as weird as this might sound, I mean, I've always been so, I guess so, I never, like, in school, like, I've never been somebody to, I guess, like, look at, I guess, or like observe people and be like, damn, I want to be, just like them. Like, it's more like, it's more from, again, like an ideology of, I guess, these personas. I mean, now I can actually now say this because it's officially set in stone, but my next couple of releases, I'm not going to be doing a full-length record for quite a while. After obviously Lighthouse, but I'm going to start embarking on recording a EP project with 4 personas, and the 4 personas branch off from the paganistic ideology of the 4 elements, the 4 directions: fire, water, air, and earth. And so each one has, I guess, their own person and such. But I was really interested with this, I guess, this persona project when I was listening to a lot of, I guess there's a lot of like classical, because like in a way, like classical, the compositions in classical music are so completely different from one another. There's so much intricacy that is completely 180 like degrees off from like the other one. So I think that it's kind of like that, if that makes any sense. Like they're very different. And so but I think that like it doesn't really branch from a person. It kind of branches from a feeling and more of a, I guess, kind of like a way of thinking and like a way of going through life and kind of views and perspectives on such. So.
Sure, absolutely. We're talking to CD recording artist Michael Ryder. He's got a CD out right now by the name of Lighthouse, which you can get at iTunes and several other outlets. Even link to it from my website. Michael, I want to skip over real quick and talk about your music video for Lovely Lady. I viewed that video several times, actually, and I tell you, that almost looks like it was harder to come up with as far as the concept is concerned. How long did it take for you and your crew to actually record and edit that kind of video? Because I'm telling you what, that was kind of technically amazing to watch.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet of you. I worked with a really great guy. I worked with a producer, I guess this kind of Renaissance man from Virginia, but I had a lot of friends who were as well, and that worked with him. A lot of my musician friends, we kind of came from the same agency, but he is honestly, like, he is so good at what he does. He's, I guess, one of the type of people that, like, if he sets his mind to something, he does it absolutely perfect. Like, he's brilliant. Like, he's a really smart guy, and like he has a lot of I guess this like technicality to him that makes him really think through a process and like understand it completely. But he honestly, like, the process was like, because I'm really ambitious and like sometimes I'm kind of just all over the place, and I'll just be like, just to make me fly, and like he'll do it. Like, so it's kind of one of those things that like I just said a bunch of crazy shit, and he's just like, oh shit, oh my god, I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss, but he told me, he was like, well, we can do this and we can do this, but he kind of figured out a way to